Hello, Cooking with Kim D. Kim Donchmart from the Pampered Chef here. Welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I am making Hawaiian Instapot shredded chicken inside of our Deluxe multi-cooker. Now, when you see a recipe that says Instapot, yes, you can use it in our Deluxe multi-cooker. And I will show you the Deluxe multi-cooker in just a bit, but I want to get the sauce for this that this is going to cook in inside the Deluxe multi-cooker. I want to get that ready inside of our Deluxe cooking blender first. All right, so I have misplaced my half cup, so I'm going to use my quarter cup and just do this, measure a couple things twice. So into the blender, love our Deluxe cooking blender. This thing does smoothies, it does alternative milks. You can grind, make things like almond butter, peanut butter, any kind of nut butters, hummus, all sorts of different things on the grind function. You can make heated soups, heated puree soups, cream of tomato, cream of mushroom, creamy potato, creamy sweet potato, butternut squash soup, which is my favorite soup to make in here. You can do heated purees. If you know somebody who has a little one, they can do homemade baby food in here. If they want to do baby food that they know exactly what's going into their, infant's baby food, you can do that in here. You can even make jams in here. It makes amazing blueberry jam. You can do sauce such as nacho cheese sauce and hollandaise sauce. And the really cool thing about it, in addition to all those other cool features, it has a heated wash function. So, especially for things like the almond butter that really sticks to the bottom, all I do is fill it up with a little bit of water, a couple drops of dish detergent. I let it do the heated cycle, and then I just have to kind of rinse everything out a little bit. Only part I have to wash really is right around the ring, because obviously when the lid goes on, that creates a seal, so you just need to wash the top part off, but makes it real easy. All right, so into my blender, I am doing a half cup of bone broth, and then a half cup of unsweetened coconut milk. And I am using the canned stuff. And then to that, I need a half teaspoon of salt. Put that in. And then I cut up some pineapple. It calls for a cup in the whole recipe, and I need to use about half of it to put inside, let's give or take about half of it inside our sauce. Put the lid on. Great safety feature of our blender. This will not work. It won't even let me choose the function unless this part of the top right here, I think there's a magnet in here that unless these two line up with the pitcher handle, it will not turn off. So you will never have stuff flying up in the air unless you forget to put it on the center. But I do like this because for things like almond butter and whatnot, it comes with a tamper, and for things like hummus, it comes with a tamper that does not get down into the blades. It's not long enough to get down into the blades, so you can kind of push it down, because sometimes the almonds will start creeping up the sides of the pitcher, so that works great. All right, so I am just gonna do, cancel, custom blend. I'm gonna put it up to about a 5 and just let this go for a minute and have this blend up. Just like that, in about 10 seconds, I'm done. I think that's probably mixed up enough. It is. All right, I'm going to put you guys on hold, and I'll be right back with our next step to our Hawaiian shredded chicken. Be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. So I turned my Deluxe multi-cooker on, and I'm going to talk about the Deluxe multi-cooker a little bit more in a minute, but I cooked my bacon in here, so I needed 4 slices of bacon. Now, I bought an entire package of bacon because cook once, use it twice. I'm preparing something in a couple of days that's going to have bacon in it. I'm making like a savory tart, and I need bacon for it. So rather than, you know what it's like to clean up after making bacon and the grease and everything, instead of cooking it, having to cook it the next time I need it, I used my Deluxe multi-cooker. I put it on the sear function on high, and I browned up the bacon all in here. So all I do is I take my cutting board, I lay out my slab of bacon, I cut it into small pieces, throw it in here. These are our pasta tongs. Now, I know they say pasta tongs, but this is actually my favorite tong the Pampered Chef sells. I love these little rivets here. It makes it real easy to pick up food and whatnot. So I've got my bacon in here. I'm letting this cool down for a second. I'm going to drain off my bacon and then I'll be right back. All right, I have cleared out the bacon grease. I did leave some of the residual bacon, that brown stuff down at the bottom, because that has so much flavor in it. I don't want to get rid of that, right? And my bacon, I have my bacon draining here. Now, normally I like my bacon a little bit more cooked than this, but for the recipes that I'm using it for, I didn't want it to be too crispy, but it cooked up great. Super easy, drained all the fat off into a can. I'll let that harden. All right, so this is our Deluxe multi-cooker. This is Pampered Chef's version of a pressure cooker. And boy, do I love pressure cookers, because, are you like me? I've got 3 kids. All right, one of them's out of the house, but we're busy here. I work a full-time job. My husband works a full-time job. I sell Pampered Chef. I also do another side business. My daughter is in varsity soccer, traveling soccer. My son is in ROTC. We are just a busy family. While I love to cook, I really do love to cook, this thing has come in handy so many nights when we just have way too much stuff going on. It's also a great way to make some make-ahead meals that I could throw in the freezer, soups, stews, just all sorts of stuff. And this thing really does it all. So it has a custom function, which I'll be using tonight, a sear. Now, like I said, if you see an Instapot recipe and it says saute, you're going to use the sear function. We have an egg function. We sell, you know, those cute little egg bites that you get at some of the coffee shops, really cute, but cost an arm and a leg. We sell a little egg bite mold that you can put in here. This is also a sous vide cooker. If you're not familiar with sous vide, don't worry about it. I didn't really know what it was either until this came out. I had an idea what it was, but I didn't know what to do. I never had done it. Excuse me. Sous vide is basically cooking in a water bath. So depending on what kind of meat protein that you're cooking, you'll use a different temperature to get the meat up to a certain temperature, whether you like your meat rare or medium rare, medium, well done. You set things to a certain temperature. But this egg mold cooks inside of a water bath. Oh my gosh, they are so good, and they are a fraction of the cost of getting them. You can make a whole batch for like what you would pay for, what, 2 eggs, I think, egg bites at the coffee shop. So you can cook poultry, beef and pork, seafood, white rice, whole grains, soups, beans, desserts, steam. You can slow cook in here, sous vide, which we just discussed, yogurt. You can actually make yogurt inside of here, and you can sterilize in here. So again, you know, somebody who has a little one that needs to sterilize things a lot, this is a great use for this too. Some of the safety features I love. This, I've been using this for a while to do my bacon. This is all cool to the touch. None of this is hot. I have had a pressure cooker in the past, and I burnt myself on it because the outside got so hot. Obviously around here is going to be hot right now because we were cooking the bacon off. Another thing I love about it, and I don't know if can you see this? It has this little lever here. It has this little notch that this can sit in here. Because as you know, there's going to be a lot of steam and liquid, kind of dribbling down afterwards. So you can just put it right there if you're entertaining, like for football or, the big game on, weekend games and stuff. It's great because people can just open it up when they want to. It's got a great little spot for it to sit. Everything is super easy to clean, comes apart real easy. My last pressure cooker, where you released the steam, is basically where the steam came out, and I burnt myself a few times, and I was pretty careful, but just had a hard time doing it. Got a little, steam burn, steam blister, whatnot. We actually release our steam button to release the steam is down here, and the button is way up here. So your fingers are nowhere close to where that steam is going to release, which I love that safety function of it. If you have little ones in the house, the Cool Touch feature is definitely a big plus as well. All right, let's get this chicken going, because I'm hungry. So I think I have 5 chicken breasts. The recipe calls for 4. My package had 5. Not a big deal. I'm going to put those all at the bottom. Now, the recipe, which I will post, says to take some of that bacon and actually put it down on the bottom. I don't like when bacon is real mushy or soggy. I like a little crispness to it. So I was reading some of the comments on this, and a lot of people said that they liked, or some people said they would have added the bacon at the very end. The bacon's all cooked. I can just mix it up in it at the very end. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've got my chicken breasts in there. This is that pineapple coconut juice, coconut milk, pineapple coconut milk, salt. That's all in there. I've got a little bit more reserved, just some roughly chopped pineapple that I'm putting in here, which I want to grab. And of course it's not out here right now, so I'll just grab one of my other scrapers. If you do not have any of our scrapers, these are wonderful. I've had my scrapers, some of my original scrapers are like 20-something years old. They work great. They don't discolor, dishwasher safe. I forget what the temp is that you can go up to them, but I've never had one melt. So all I'm going to do is pour, sorry if you can't see that well, my pineapple concoction on top. It takes very little liquid to use a pressure cooker. But you do need liquid inside of a pressure cooker in order to get that pressure built up. So this is going to go on, and I always do this. If it's not facing me, I can never do this. Okay. All right, so that's going on. I'm going to do it for custom, and then I'm going to set it for 20 minutes. Now, even though it says, and you're saying 20 minutes, that's it to cook, and it actually might take a little bit more, but I've never made this recipe before, so I'm following the directions. I try to follow the directions the first time I try a recipe. I know I went against the grain with the whole bacon, but I have a feeling it's going to be done in less than that, but that's okay. So that's going to go for 20 minutes. It is going to take a few minutes for this to get pressurized inside of it, guys. So if a recipe says that it's only going to cook for 13 minutes, it's not just 13 minutes. It is a few extra minutes because you got to get it, let it heat up in there and get the pressure going. So it actually has, this is our newer model. We had a different model, the quick cooker, a couple of years ago. This model, I love it because it's got a little, almost like a little clock down here that shows where in the cycle it is. So right now it says preheat, and it's going to show me how much time until it actually, or about how, you know, a gauge to how long it's going to take before it is at pressure. Once it gets to pressure, there's a little red button back here, kind of like the old Purdue pop-ups. It's going to pop up. That means it's pressurized. It's going to cook. Once it is done, for this recipe, it says to manually release. So there's a natural release when you're doing pressure cooking, and there's a natural and a manual. Natural, I tend to do with really tough cuts of meat. If I'm doing ribs, or you know, a big pork loin, or a big cut of beef, you know, a pot roast or something like that, I tend to use the natural for big cuts of meats, big tough cuts of meats. For something like a chicken, I'm just going to press this and let it manual. I'm going to manually, meaning I'm going to press this button to get the pressure out. Naturally means you don't touch anything and you just wait for that red button to fall down. Once you can't see that red button pushed up, once it falls down, that means you everything is safe to open. This will not open unless that red button has gone down. So super easy. Other great thing I love about using a pressure cooker, while this is cooking, I'm going to clean up everything else. I'm going to wipe down counters. I'm going to do everything. Mom's taking care of all her job right now before she eats, because once I eat, kiddos and hubby are going to be responsible for cleaning this out, wiping down the counters, wiping down the stove, and taking care of putting the dishes that we eat off of inside the dishwasher. So my job will be done very soon. So another plus for using a pressure cooker. All right, I will be back in a little bit to show you guys what the finished product looks like. Hey guys, so one thing about me is I have Crohn's colitis and rheumatoid arthritis. Right now I am at a really high flare-up with my arthritis. So gripping things and pulling meats apart and all that kind of stuff, as tender as they may be, definitely hurts my joints right now. So I wanted to show you guys real quick the Deluxe stand mixer that just came out March 1st. This is a host exclusive right now. You can only get this if you are a host currently. I don't know if that'll change or not, but One of the things I love to do with my mixer is use it to pull apart meat. So I've got my chicken breast in here. I've got my chicken breasts all cooked. And again, I'm at a weird angle, so I'm not doing this correctly. Our stand mixer actually has a nice digital display here. And depending on which of the functions you choose, it'll tell you which paddle you need to, which attachment you need to have. So I just want to mix this up. So it's telling me to have this paddle on here. So I'm just going to put this in here. Whoops, it moved to cream. So I just want to take that, mix. You can even set it for a time. I'm just going to watch it for a minute and see how it breaks up. Again, I know a bowl that I need to clean, but it's saving my hands and my joints right now, which is a big plus for me. So a stand mixer is not just a stand mixer for making baked goods and desserts and whatnot. I've used it to mix up my meatloaf. Obviously, I've used it to make whipped cream and frosting and whatnot. It comes with some great recipes. And just like that, and I think I'm going to stop it, cancel, release that, and just in a few seconds, my meat is all shred up, and I'm going to add that back to the juices that we cooked in. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so you saw I used the Deluxe stand mixer to shred up my chicken. That is going to go back inside all of those juices with the pineapple juice and the cut pineapple and the coconut milk. And you could, I mean, I'm just going to use this as a side meat, as my protein for my plate, but you could certainly use this for some pulled chicken sandwiches, maybe on some Hawaiian rolls or something like that. Me, I'm trying to watch out for my carbs. I'm trying to eat a little healthier. I know this has a little bit of sugar because of the pineapple, but I figured it's natural sugar. I'm not adding anything. So on my plate, I just cooked up some cauliflower rice. I have some nice peppery arugula, just to have some greens on my plate. I'm going to add a scoop of my shredded Hawaiian chicken. Oh, I forgot to add the bacon to it. All right, let's take that off the plate. Pampered, not perfect. Let's take that out. All right, so I've got my bacon. I was like, this does not look right. I have my bacon, and again, I made more of it than I needed. I'm going to add in, more bacon's always better, right? All right. So I put my bacon in there. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I'm saying this is looking very one color-ish. And if you made this like around Easter, if you've got leftover ham at Easter time, I bet like some nice, really cut up, finely cut up Easter ham added to this instead of the bacon would be a great way to use up some of that bacon. So there we go. I've got my chicken on my plate here. And then lastly, to dress my arugula, I'm using some of our new Green Goddess seasoning mix. This is really, really good. It's definitely earthy. It's got, let's see here, it's got garlic powder, salt, spices, parsley, basil, black pepper, dillweed, tarragon, onion powder, spinach powder, green onion, a little bit of vinegar. It's excellent. If you've never tried Green Goddess, give it a shot. It's a really nice flavor. I'm really enjoying it. There's a pasta salad recipe out in Season's Best that goes with it. So inside one of my silicone measuring cups, I have just whisked up a little bit of non-fat Greek yogurt, a little bit of avocado oil, a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I just kind of eyeballed it. And then about 2 tablespoons, or about a tablespoon and a half of the Green Goddess seasoning. Mix that up super quick. And then I'm just going to give that a tiny little bit of drizzle over the top of my arugula. And I have a pretty clean eating plate. And the chicken's a little on the light side, but I'm really excited. Actually, let me grab a fork, let you guys know what I think about it. Something different we have chicken a lot. And I feel like I've run out of ways to cook chicken. I'm gonna just drop some in my apron. Very tasty. Now, personally, I would add a little bit more salt to it. Not a lot. I would add a little bit more salt. But I wonder if you cooked the bacon in with it, if maybe the chicken would be a little bit more salty. I really like that though. Okay, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I'm curious what the family will think. But I really like that for a nice clean, that's a pretty clean eating meal. I know this is going to be super, I'm going to be really full by the time this is done. Sorry, I shouldn't be eating and talking at the same time on camera. So there we have it. Some cauliflower rice, some arugula with a quick green goddess vinaigrette, and then our Hawaiian chicken with pineapple and coconut milk. Pretty tasty. There we have it inside of the Deluxe multi-cooker. Have a great night.